ones that are not very good in speaking English, and that could be a problem for the teacher, because even if the students want to communicate, they may not be able to because they do not know the language. And finally, there is too much focus on verbal and also listening, but there is not much focus given to reading and writing. For example, when we displayed, we hardly told you that it's optional if you want to write. There is no reading at all. So the students may improve their verbal skills, but their reading and writing skills are very much neglected in this technique. So that's one of the biggest disadvantages. That's all. Any questions? Yes, definitely.
What do you think would be the main characteristics of a CLT class?
Bringing real communication in classroom, like how they speak outside. Like it's not only about the grammatical structures of something in classroom, but they also will learn how to like talk when they go outside.
I think the main characteristics would be that this class will have very few students who who know each other well because they are in a smaller group, and also I would assume that they are a bit older than the younger kids because there's a lot of talking to do, and it's a lot of opinion based and coming up with your own answers. So it's not like you're spoon feeding the students. So, and also higher proficiency level.
What other characteristics do you think will still be needed other than just students of higher proficiency? They are more adult learners rather than young learners. So if you apply it in a second language learning context, how would you do it? Are you saying that CLT is very hard to do because learners may not have that proficiency in English?
Because that's a limitation in CLT, because the students need a teacher who's really high proficient in English, so they can accommodate the second language learners in classroom. So even if they have problems in conversing, the teacher will help them out.
It is possible to apply to a lower proficiency, and also it may bring out good results because the students are practicing more, then they can get higher proficiency. But that would take a lot more effort to put in.
Okay. I have a question. What age group do you think that this approach is appropriate for?
We applied it to 8 to 10 years old, and it worked, and we can apply it to a university level classroom, and it will work. So I think it's mostly applicable to. I don't think for the very young kids like 5 to 7 it would be very applicable because students at that age need someone to tell them what to do step by step, and it's very difficult to let them be on their own and take charge of the class.
Because younger kids they needed to learn about writing and reading, which is mainly writing, which is not really practiced in CLT. So CLT is mainly about communicating with others.
So if you don't already have some level in the language, you won't be able to use the CLT approach.
Yes, because it's mostly verbal communication.
Okay. Thank you.
No more question? Well, I'm just interested to know the opinion that you mentioned. Is it your own interpretation or is it from your reading? Or
Reading.
Yeah, it's from reading. It's from the references.
Yeah.
It's from reading.
Over in the Western context, for example, I mean the most dominant approach around the 70s before it was exported over here is actually communicative language teaching. And the key idea about the main characteristic of it is that you use the language the language is actually used for, the whole idea of CLT is about using the language to do certain things. Getting them to, in actual sense, I mean, it's as in an authentic situation where they use the language to do certain things. Because what happened before that, teaching was sort of being controlled by the teacher, and the teacher decides to give what to learn. And they found that in doing that kind of learning, it is something that is imposed by the teacher. Syllabus is actually prepared by the teacher, and they just learn whatever the teacher felt was important. And in that kind of scenario, language learning is not seen as authentic. Okay?
No, not so, going back to what you said, it's actually like in Saudi, back in the Saudi context, like the communicative approach. Sorry, it's like the most used approach right now because it's like English for communication purposes. So what the students do, they take these courses like, for example, business English or speaking about other countries, so that when they travel, they can use the language. So
yeah,
it's like a widely implemented approach now.
Yes. Any other questions? Anything that is troubling you? Yamni look a bit troubled. Can you say what you think and how do you interpret that?
In communicative language teaching, I feel this topic is very suitable for language learning. How about any other subjects teaching? Do you think this is applicable?
Like I mentioned, politics. So you would obviously teach politics to a higher level of students. So at that age, these students already know how to read and write, university level students. So it's like for more discussion based, like, okay, this happened in the news yesterday. What do you think about it? Politics. It can happen about music, pop culture, history. Why do you think Hitler was on the right side or on the wrong side? Psychology.
Do you think science and maths could be used?
I don't think that it would be applicable to the basic subjects.
I think mathematics and science is more like the formulas.
Direct answers.
Yeah.
But I think for science and maths also it can be used in the starting stage, not in when you go, because it's facts, you get only one answer, you get only one result. In that stage you can't use, but then whereas you can use it like which method would be better than the other one. So in that case you can use this method. For math, I don't think so. Maybe you can work as a group to derive a
Yeah, I think like
combination.
for trigonometry, you can say, okay, this group come up with the answer using a calculator. Work together, find the answer. This group don't use a calculator, get the answer together. Then come at the front and show us how you work this out.
Because CLT is mainly about meaningful communication, which don't really happen in mathematics and science class.
Science
yeah.
still, I think you can. But mathematics is very hard.
It's more like formulas and
I think it's more flexible compared to the other techniques that we have learned so far, because in most of the classes there's communication happening. But when it comes to like maths and science, you can apply it in a few lessons, but it's very difficult to have something meaningful conversation.
So how to implement this in a classroom where there are many timid students, and how would you group them? Like, how would you make them open their mouth and speak?
maybe we can use, because our CLT is mainly accommodate only few students in a classroom. So if in case we have more students, we can use different learning methods like jigsaw method.
More quiet students,
Yeah,
right?
timid, the more
Yeah, we
shy
can use
ones.
So
that's what I'm saying.
role play. You can use role play. You can start by doing one-on-one, like how we started doing one-on-one, rather than just putting on the spot. Can you tell me what this action is? Can you tell me what this action is?
And we
So
also
slowly.
we also can put the high achievers and the low achievers in a group, so the high achievers can help the low achievers.
And also, like, as I mentioned earlier, these students probably know each other because they have been in the class for a longer period of time, and if they are so few that they are able to communicate with one another. So, is that the answer?
Yes.
Is that all?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.